Hi YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, May 4th. We got the Nuggets taking on the Timberwolves as the sole NBA matchup tonight. In today's video, obviously it looks a little bit different, but luckily it's just one game. So we're still going to give you our lean on the spread, going to give you our lean on the total, and I have one player prop that I'm liking as of right now. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment. That's where all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling myself, all of my final plays will live. But we are on the road. Paris and I are staying away at an Airbnb celebrating my birthday, so we do have a road video here. But nonetheless, again, just one game, so hopefully we can kind of stick to normal. We won't have any screen shares or anything fancy like that. But nonetheless, in terms of last night, across the two games, we had one play in each. The same game parlay in the Clippers and Mavericks game, that does not come through. And then we had Jalen Suggs' under in points in the Orlando and the Cavs game. That doesn't come through either. So unlike the MLB, in which we went 5-0, we end up having an 0-2 night in the NBA. But hopefully, with this next round, second round matchup here, we can bounce back between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. So this should be a really, really good series, obviously. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. But in terms of where I'm leaning in game number one, and this is all going to be, I guess, predicated on the fact that Jamal Murray, in my brain, is playing. He is listed as a game-time decision. He's been, questionable in some of these games that they had against the Lakers. Still played, so obviously that's a major factor when I say what I'm about to say, that I like the Nuggets minus the points today in game number one as a lean. It's got to mean Jamal Murray plays, okay? So I do like the Nuggets, and it really comes down to the fact that I'm giving the Timberwolves credit and how good they are and all that, but I do think that, Nuggets, game number one at home, Nuggets beat this team last year in the playoffs, though that was a 1-8 matchup, I believe, right? 4-1. So, I haven't seen exactly the matchup in the playoffs that I could say, hey, this Timberwolves team has really proved to me. They beat the Suns, and if you've been following the Suns, they were in such disarray. Durant never felt comfortable. Players wanted to get a point guard. Devin Booker, you're playing off ball, that type of thing, and they made fun of their coach when he got mad at them. That was a team in shambles. So, okay, the Minnesota Timberwolves go out there and smoke the Suns and sweep them. I give them credit for that, but not enough credit to come into game number one here and beat/cover against the Nuggets. Now, I will say, out of the total pick and my player prop and then the spread pick is definitely the one that I have the least amount of confidence in, so I can just be honest with you guys with that, but it's almost like I want to see it before I can truly trust it and believe it. So I think this Nuggets team is better than this Timberwolves team. I think the Nuggets win this series, and it gets started off at home in game number one. So give me the Nuggets minus the 4.5 points. But again, it's not based on matchup. It's not based on anything that you'd like analytically. It's more or less, I do think that this Nuggets team is the better team. I think most people should feel like that. And I kind of want to see that the Timberwolves can compete with a team that's not in shambles in the playoffs, if that makes sense. I would say I'll do these in order of least confidence to most, in a sense. So my second pick's actually going to be the over 208.5 for a few reasons. If we get the non-analytical reasons out right now, I think everybody's gonna like the under in this, or at least be able to justify the under, because you have a really good defensive team in Minnesota and a very slow, methodical team in Denver. And if you look at the money, 55% of the money right now is on the over. So I guess the public is slightly leaning towards the over, but over 55% of the bets, but 90% of the money is on the over. So the sharp money is coming in pretty hard on the over there, and it makes sense why. Minnesota, in their 4 games against Phoenix, they went over in 3 of those 4 to this line, and they scored 100 plus in each game, right? Denver, 5 games against the Lakers. I think a plane's flying by. Hopefully that doesn't disturb the audio here. Denver, 5 games against the Lakers. 4 of those 5 went over this line, and the Nuggets scored 100 plus in each one of those games. So I do think that this is a spot in which both teams can go out there and give you 100 as a floor. I mean, you just need a few more buckets on each and every side of that. And honestly, I guess when you look at it from a playoff meaning too, I have in my notes here, 5 games last year in that playoffs, 4 of those ended up going over too. So I do think that both these teams are good enough offensively, and I think it's just going to be too easy of a spot to be like, oh, it's an under, because that's the informed pick, I guess, if it makes sense. Dating back to last year, 85% of these two teams, so I think it was January 2023, dating back then, 85% of the games between these two teams went over as well. So I look at this and I say, all right, kind of similar to my spread pick. If you're going to have this slow 93 to 89 type of a game, let me see it before I just use the easy sort of feeling of, oh, these are two slow teams. It's like, no, so far we've seen in the playoffs and with these two teams meeting that they can give you triple digit points. And if you can give a floor of 100 each, I think a few balls bounce, in our direction, and we can get up to 209. I'm going to keep an eye on the line, though, because if we can get this number at any other spot, I don't mind it whatsoever. And then our last pick here, guys. Before we get to the last pick, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment 5 if you made it this far into the video. I know we don't have a normal microphone and everything like that. I packed up our to-go equipment, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I forgot my laptop charger, so that stinks. No camera, no wires, like boneheaded. I barely had a phone charger. Like we had another one, so that was lucky. But yeah, I just did not pack everything we needed. But anyways, guys, still grinding, still getting the videos out even when we are away. This isn't a vacation, though. It's just a little getaway. I know everyone's like, you're going on so many vacations. The bets are hitting. What can I say? We're smacking after an 0-2 night. But all right, last pick here is our player prop. And this is probably my favorite play in the spot in the game here. Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 PRA. So he's been playing 30-plus minutes in the playoffs. When he plays 30-plus minutes on the season, he's hit this at a 78% clip. Yes, 78% clip. Absolutely absurd. He's done it in 5 straight against the Nuggets when he plays 30-plus minutes, and which I expect him to play 30-plus minutes. They're going to need his defense out there. But even if he doesn't, say he plays his 27, 28, he's still done it in 7 of his last 8 against the Nuggets. What I like about him is the fact that he can kind of, obviously PRA, he can do anything in this spot, but he isn't a player that is just tied to fast break or tied to X, Y, and Z. Like, I wanted to look at, we've been cashing Michael Porter Jr. all day long in these playoffs, right? But that's because Michael Porter Jr. fits that Lakers are going to try and push the pace, and that's the guy. Michael Porter Jr. is the guy that'll step up and kind of play with some pace for the Nuggets. But we don't really have that situation here. We have a game in which you should be able to predict correctly this pace. So I kind of want a guy that's in the mix. Will hit maybe a couple big shots here or there, but really is going to be in the mix, grabbing boards. A couple, maybe he just passes to Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards takes 2 dribbles and makes a layup. It's like, still counts as an assist. So this is a guy that when he plays a lot of minutes, he is going to get the stat sheet. He's not going to crush it. Like, think about it. His PRA line's only 13.5, but that should be, I would play this almost up to like 15.5 based on the numbers we're seeing out of him when he plays a lot of minutes. So I like the matchup, but I just more or less like the fact that he's going to be involved on the floor, and they almost need him on the floor. Like, he's one of the obviously Gobert is there, and then even Ant is a good defender, but he's the guy that's going to try and cover the best guy out there. And he's a really good defender, so they're going to need to rely on him if they want to stay in this game. And for a line at 13.5, and a guy that I expect to get a lot of minutes, and when he plays a lot of minutes, he crushes this line, seems like a pretty good recipe to me. So, again, Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 PRA. I lean slightly towards the Nuggets spread, and then the over 208, I think, is going to be a play that I definitely don't mind as well. But, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I think tomorrow's probably will be another video like this, but then obviously back to regular scheduled programming come Monday. And then I hate to say it, I'm away the next weekend too, but when I say I'm away, we still get videos out. But, yeah, a lot of traveling here, but like I said, these 0-2 nights are smacking. The sports books are paying me nice. But I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.